Good morning. Anyone can hear me?
Yes.
Well, first of all, I want to thank all the friends and the media friends that came this morning. 首先，我哋多謝各位朋友係支持我嘅朋友們，仲有個大家媒體嗰啲嘢咁有心今日嚟到呢度，我個 press conference。今次 I'm a little bit tense today. I'm very extremely happy and humble that the membership of the Markham Union will have nominated me again to run for the federal election. I don't know when it's going to be happening. Some say December, some say February, some say in April next year. But what I'm trying to do is every week try to meet as many people as possible and to know more people to support me and try to convince more people to vote for me in the next election. I know running a campaign is not easy. You need a lot of volunteers, you need a lot of funding, and today when I look across the table, I want to thank some of the people, especially Lily. She's the president of the Chinese Outreach Committee, the foundation that raised money for the Scarborough Hospital. And I saw John is here too. And also want to thank my friend John Yun that have done so much to arrange for this morning press conference. I also want to thank some of the community people, especially my campaign manager Dave. You've done a wonderful job. Thank you. And of course, my CFO is here today to support me, and his job is to make sure I collect enough money to run. And I also want to thank a good friend of mine, Eric, who has been on my side, giving me a lot of encouragement. And for those of you that may not aware about, I'm the first Chinese to run 3 times for federal parliament. Obviously, I hope I won't be alone because I expect Oliver Chow to announce soon, so she will be running same like me 3 times. But until then, today, I'm the first official candidate on record to put my name forward to run for the 3rd time. There's a very simple reason why I run for public office. I want to start off, with a simple thing. My wife always asks me, are you not making a good living in your financial service? I say, I do. But he said, then why all of a sudden you're spending a lot of time and energy on political fronts? So today I want to use this opportunity to try to clarify why I'm so passionate in politics. As all of you in this room are aware, the GTA, we have close to almost 300, actually not 300, I keep on thinking about 380,000. That was the year when I came to Canada. Today we have almost 600,000 strong in GTA area. And we are the only community that are not represented in Ottawa. Being a Chinese Canadian coming from India, and I have a little bit close relationship with that Indo-Canadian community too. I am a little bit, quite frankly, a little bit jealous. When I look at the Indo-Canadian, they have 6 members of parliament, yet they have only half of our population. Look at this today example. Just 2 weeks ago, when there's an earthquake in Pakistan, and the first day, the Liberal government announced a 300,000 funding. And from the community, they start screaming and yelling, what are you going to do with 300,000? And the magic immediately changed to $20 million within 24 hours. And within the next 48 hours, guess what happened? the Prime Minister came down with his entire elite cabinet, including Foreign Minister and all the GTA heavyweight. So I always asking the question, why is they have so much influence, like in the political landscape? It's very simple, because the Indo-Canadian community are very involved, because they consider Canada their home now. So today I want to use this opportunity to address my Chinese audience and my fellow Canadians. Having chosen this country as a home, we have to, start thinking like a Canadian. Today, as all of you aware in this room here, we are very successful in school. You hear about, we have a lot of highly graduated doctors that are coming from a Chinese background. You hear a lot of Chinese people are very successful business. I mean, you name it, right? Ray Chen from CI Mutual Fund, Michael Lee Chin, and ATI Technology. And we have a lot of people that are very successful helping in fundraising. I mean, I just mentioned about Navy. This year, May, I think you raised over $350,000, right, for Scarborough Hospital. And John Unit, another example, raised a lot of money for community. But there's one area I think we forgot about it. Since pledging, taking the Canadian citizenship, that we're going to be like Canadian. So that's one area I think we have to remember. We have to honor the obligation to start to get involved in public service. Public service is a noble task. We should not shy away to get involved and help government to understand the community need. And today, I want to make sure that the future generation should start thinking more like a Canadian, start volunteer, to serve the public office. I like to lead by example by naming to run for the third time. And people was asking me, Joe, why are you doing this? I say, unless or until someone got elected. And my job is keep on going, keep on motivating people that they have an obligation to come and serve the Canadian public. With not any further ado, I just want to thank one more couple of people just came in late here, C.S. Leong. He was a former candidate for Willowdale, and some of the people just came in a little bit. Thank you for your presence, and I want to leave it to the media if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'd now like to invite John Gray from the Riding Association to say a few words. John, if you would.
Thanks, Dave. Good morning, everybody. I'm the registered financial agent for the electoral district for the Conservative Party here in Markham and I, and go on record that we are totally supporting Joe Lee in his candidacy, both personally and financially.
Handshake to make sure.
Joe has found success in many of his endeavors since coming to Canada. He's built, of course, a financial career and raised a family. He's been very active in his community, both in politics and in other areas. And I've had an opportunity to work with Joe in the past, and I know that nobody works harder or more diligently than Joe Lee. So, on behalf of all my colleagues in the Electoral District Association, we want to recommend Joe. We feel he'll be not only an outstanding candidate, but a wonderful member of Parliament from Markham and I. Joe, congratulations.
Thank you.
And last but not least, I'd like to introduce Mr. Eric Wynn. I think everybody knows Eric. He's a strong Conservative supporter and a great friend to us. Eric?
Thank you. 3 points I want to mention. First thing is all of this related with the Chinese politics. Since we are in Canada, I hope the media can try to help us that first try to encourage the Chinese people coming to vote at the general elections, no matter whether it's federal, provincial, and the municipal. Make sure, try to encourage them to come to vote. This is important. And because the government no matter which level of government, they always calculate how many percent of the Chinese coming to vote. And the more you vote, doesn't matter which party you vote, but come out to vote. And then the government was thinking when they do some policies, they will take into consideration of the Chinese interests. Second thing, what I try to say is when is the elections involved in the yeah, when there's elections, make sure you come out to help. Because all the candidates, like he mentioned, they always need manpower. They doing all kinds of things during the election. So make sure they come out to vote. In the meantime, obviously, if you can donate the money, go ahead, do it. The third thing is what he is doing. He not only participate what he did before, the last how many years, what he did helping other people, doing all this. Obviously, he voted before. Then helping other people to do the elections, right? Now he participates as a candidate. So now, after how many years in Canada as a Canadian, now is the time for the Chinese people to involve as a party candidate. That means join the party, then go through the nominations, and this way we should follow our South Asian friends. When they talk about nominations, they always ask their leaders. Their community leader say, "Can you help me?" So the community leader asks, "How many buses people you want me to bring in?" So every time there's a nomination there, they talk about how many buses. When you come to me to ask for help, I give you 1 bus load. So if you go to those, say, 10 buses, 400 people, you win the nominations. Thank you.
I also have 2 prominent Taiwanese community here, Dr. Chen, Larry Chen, and Denise Su is present here. And again, all the media is here, so I hope I didn't miss anyone. So if anyone would like to have any questions, I was more than happy to answer. Thank you.
Question. I know you have been running like for 3 times. This is 3 times, right? So I know that you are experienced. So my question is that are you ready to win? Or if you lose, what happened? You have a very good example like Tony Clement. He ran for 4 times. He did leadership election, federal, and then also municipal. But finally he got 20-something years experience, but he still lost. So what about any chances? Because we Chinese we want to beat on the winning horse. If you tell me that you have a better chances to win, probably more people will vote for you.
Joseph, thank you for asking an important question. I have to be very honest with you. A couple of months ago, right after the nomination, I have a Korean friend that bought a present for me. I don't know what is it. I took it home, and I opened it. It's an Abraham Lincoln history. He runs 7 times. So I just put on a table, on the dining table. My wife, I purposely put beside my wife. And my wife looked at it, he said, "Are you telling me you're going to run 7 times?" Joseph, I hope I don't have to run 7 times. I hope that by the next election, I will be victorious, So that with the next press conference, I hope that will be in the celebration mood. And that's why I'm working very hard. So I don't want to think about the 4th one yet, but I'm looking forward to work for this 3rd one, which is an important one. I think it's crucial, and I intend to win, and I intend to defeat my opponent, Mr. McCollum. Thank you. Because this is the 3rd time, right? I mean, for me, all right, and this is the first time, in the history, from the community standpoint of view, right? I'm the first one that ran 3 times for federal parliament. So as I just was making it a little bit comment later on, I hope Oliver Chow will join me. So I don't want to be lonely running 3 times. Yes, I think the delay of the election actually is a blessing to me, but for a lot of my colleagues may be asking for early election. But to me, it's not easy to run against an incumbent like John McCallum. So the last election, we are only at 36 days, so which is not a lot of time, okay? And today, since May 15, after my nomination, I have a chance to go out to meet people, like poll by poll. I have completed so far at least 25% of the poll, okay? So hopefully, by the call of election in February or April, I should be able to cover the remaining 120 polls. Interesting, people ask me when I go out canvassing, right, why conservative? I know in the past, a lot of our community people like Indian, Chinese, traditional voter liberal for a very simple belief that the Liberal Party led them into this country. But I would strongly encourage our community to do their research properly. Me alone, I've done the research. When I came to Canada, actually, I was the first one to, the Liberal Party was the first party I approached. I asked them a very simple question, what is the qualification required for me to stand as candidate for your party? And the answer was very puzzling to me. They told me that there's no vacancy because it just happened they have a sitting incumbent MP in that riding. So I said, well, when can I run for the party? He said, well, until he gets defeated. So that means if he's going to stay there for 20 years, I have to wait for 20 years. So I said, well, that's not fair to me because I'm interested. So I went to the next party, the Conservative Party, and asked them, the same question, what is the qualification required for me to stand as a candidate for your party? And I get a different answer. The answer is very simple. They say, well, Mr. Lee, if you're able to sign enough membership, if you're able to bring out 50% plus one of the vote, you are our candidate, provided you have no criminal record, you didn't batter your wife and children, you are a candidate. So, I came out with that room, I said, that's interesting, because this is very democratic, very democratic. If you have the ability to sign enough members, bring them out to vote, and majority of members shall vote for you, just like this time and last time, you automatically become the member, the candidate for the party. So other than that, I also want to expand, and I hope the media will pick up this this time, because I know seldom you don't report this. There's a reason conservative. And I look at the record, people keep on telling me the Liberal Party opened immigration. That's not true. I'll tell you today, it was the Conservative Party that started the immigration under John Diefenbach. It may not invite the immigrant from Asia. It started from Europe. So Pierre Elliott Trudeau think it's a wonderful idea, and he expanded on that. And now we look like a hero. But people are not aware about the old history. It was actually under the Liberal Prime Minister of Mackenzie King between 1923 to 49 that instituted the Chinese Exclusion Act. And for almost more than a quarter of a century, only, I checked the record, no more than 10 Chinese were allowed to come to Canada for 25 years. And it was a Liberal government that also instituted head tax, and we're still fighting for that. Okay, but I don't want to talk about the past. I want to move forward to the current status. It was under the Prime Minister of Brian Mulroney that created the Department of Multiculturalism. You remember, in those days we have a quotas of about 85,000. It was under the Mulroney government that increased the immigration quota to 250,000. And I believe a lot of the Chinese from Hong Kong, China, Taiwan, that can't even speak a single word, or I shouldn't say single word, fluently in English or French, but yet they're able to come to Canada because our government at that time say, if you are willing to bring $500,000 to investment and create a job opportunity, we will let you to come to Canada. And we also was very gutsy to give them the Canadian passport. You think the Liberal government can do that? I don't think so. And bringing them more recently, when the Liberal came to power in '93, if you sponsor your parent, you can't bring your brother and sister anymore if they're 18 plus. Under the Brian Mulroney government, if you sponsor your parent, your brother, your sister, 18 years old plus, as long as they're not married, they can accompany your parent to come here. And we didn't charge, we are very generous. We didn't charge $975 $975 for landing fees. It was only under John Cratchit government since '93 that you have to pay now $975, and also you have to split up the children. If you're 18 plus, you have to apply separately. So imagine it, if you sponsor your parent, you have a brother that's 19 years old going second year in university, they don't stand a chance to come to Canada because they didn't finish their school, they don't have the work experience. So how the hell are they going to qualify to come to Canada? So I hope that from all this evidence and fact, you will start understanding that our party actually have done more to the immigrant. And our party actually is the party that created the Department of Multiculturalism. It was the Liberal that always keep on saying they are the party of protecting multicultural. But they didn't create the Department of Multicultural. They didn't give the Chinese people the Canadian passport. You know, they didn't waive the fees. They didn't do what you call it. I mean, our party didn't ban Chinese to come to Canada. All right, it was a Liberal party, but they never want to talk about it. So I hope that I want to put the fact on the table today. And now, thank you. And I think I make a right decision and choosing the right party to run for office.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, everybody knows that federal politics is party politics. So what kind of support you're getting from the top level of Conservative Party? Like, can you talk directly to Stephen Harper or Peter MacKay? And if you win in this, in the next election, or if Conservative wins in the next election, will you be able to get a minister position in the new government?
Joseph, thanks again. Now you're a little bit more positive now, right? I want to compliment. Now you're a little bit more positive because you're thinking might have a chance to get into cabinet. I do have a good relationship with the party headquarters. You know, my friend Peter is coming here November the 8th. Is doing a fundraising event for me, and you know he wants to make sure that I have enough money to give it to my financial agent John Bay, so that he can turn around and support me to run a successful campaign. And when my government win power, actually it's up to the leader. I can tell them that I want a cabinet post. Okay, so it's up to the leader to decide whether I'm capable to take on that task or not. Thank you.
Adding on top of that part, your question, actually I did mention to the headquarters, especially to our leader, and I say next time when you come to Toronto, to the Chinese communities, make sure he is with you all the time, because he is the only candidate in GTA representing Chinese, and liberals, they don't have any at this moment. And then they won't have any because they are liberal incumbent. So that NDP at this moment I don't see any. Like he said, maybe Oliver Chow, but at this moment no. So that's what I say. I told to Harper. I say make sure use this opportunity to mention to the Chinese people, and we have him here, and what the liberal did to the Chinese communities. Thank you.
如果你當選咧，你個 office 將會喺邊度？等我哋易啲揾你。
梗係一定係 Markham 啦。你係 Markham，但係一定 office 係 Markham。
我想問咧，你點樣可以 draw 個 attention 喺我哋 Chinese community 嗰度啊？因為你知道中國人係較為內向啲嘅，咁今次選舉，咁你點樣 draw 到佢哋嘅 attention？
I'm going to try to answer in Mandarin, okay? 我知道这个是一个不简单的责任 ，OK？ 但是我相信时间已经到临 ，OK？ 我们华人，刚刚我讲的，应该今天有一个机会出来做一家之主 ，OK？ 刚刚吴医生先生讲到安省，只有我一位国会议员候选人，我感觉也很单独 ，OK？ 因为我希望会经过这一个经历呢，我能够吸引多一点年轻的人出来竞选。我刚刚说过，用语表达过我说竞选那个国会议员是一个很光荣的事，为国家服务。 为国家贡献做一点事，是一个可以讲是很骄傲的事情。OK， 所以我希望那个今天出来提名做候选人呢，我希望我们华人当然多多给我一个鼓励，而且我希望去到华人家里的，刚刚吴医生说了，不论你会投我的票还是不投我的票，总之一句话就是希望你能够出去投一个你的神圣的票。那么你如果有，不要说100%如果有60%跟65%的华人在 Markham 选区出来投票的话，我相信选举第二天一个很大的新闻就是说，哇，华人现在醒了 ，OK， 现在可以出来做主了，一家之主了，来怎么样讲呢？为那个社会服务。当然有一天，我希望不只是我一个华人国会议员，在安省来讲是依照欧洲的那个怎么讲proportion representation 我们的那个人口统计来讲，基本上来讲我们可以选出10个国会议员。你知不知道这个10位国会议员在一个少数政府多么重要吗？一票就是一票，你们一票就可以垮下来。说如果有10个国会议员代表的话，我相信以后我们的政治的地位是非常的重要。但如果你不出来参加政治的话，我们华人永远说我不应该说是2等公民，但是感觉到还是2等公民。如果你没有那个政治的地位，没有政治的政权的话，没有可以影响，像那个巴基斯坦人一样他一讲话，你看马上30万就调到2000万去了 ，OK， 所以我希望有一天我们华人会有一个这样讲起一套话来讲，政府会比较注重一点。谢谢。
这个能不能说一些在上2次你这个你失败的那个主要原因，除了你刚才讲的说是时间比较紧以外的话，最主要的原因。另外，据我们了解的话，那个现在 Markham 呢，在Markham的华人社区也有很高的知名度，也有很多人支持。他下一次可能还要再选这个选区，你就光是华人出来，恐怕也有相当一部分会支持他。你觉得自己会有把握吗？
那个问题这也是很重要 ，OK， 在 Markham 来讲，我知道你不可能永远得到100%华人的支持。如果有一般的支持，我已经很高兴了 ，OK。所以在几年来讲，前2次是可以说，第一次是好像是拿经验，因为第一次出来是我在社区里面没有工作很多，这几年来讲，这7年的光里面，在社区也开始做很多功课，好像是帮忙医院筹款有目前今年来讲是成为了客家英华联谊会的会长。OK， 在印度人社区里面也开始跟他们沟通活动，好像我现在是印度人 South Asian 的 community， 我是 Vice President 副主席 ，OK， 当然我要强调的是，你单单靠华人的票是不可能胜利的 ，OK， 那个好像是多留mainstream 好像在加拿大的 Markham 的票是很重要。我看去年成绩来讲，其实来讲。很多选区我没有去过的地方，我的票源都超过30%。那个 Paul Map 来讲是大部分是洋人住的地方，我没有去。那我花了很多时间在洋人跟印度人的身上，而且得到票源不很乐观 ，OK。所以我今天我的做法是完全是，我要注重我的票源。票源既然mainstream mainstream 是主要的会出来投票的呢，是白人呢，那我非常会注重，好像是。Highway 7100到46街那我一定会非常注重那一区的票源，那一区能够拿下来的话，转下来的话，希望这几年的在社区的功夫的话，希望能够得到好像我们华人社区跟印度人社区认同，可以给我一次机会，我时常跟我的选民说，尤其是我们在好像有几个。客家朋友说，问我这个很坦白的问题的时候，你可以告诉我吗？他说我自来加拿大，我已经投了30年至40年自由党，你可以告诉我吗？为什么我要投你的票？我说当然， 我不是说因为我是华人你就要投我的票 ，OK？ 那么我们保守党呢，你的很多政纲对华人是很有利，是纳税方面呢，社会那个社会那个治安问题啊，华人都很重要的。那么当然我又跟我的朋友说，我们一起印度出来啊，你认识我，我认识你啊。Markham 你都不认识，你都愿意投他的票，因为他是自由党。但是想问你一声，如果他当选了，这几年来啊，如果你打一个电话给他的话，他不会说他认同你或者认识你，不可能的吧？但是如果你打一个电话给我的时候，我会认识你，因为你是老乡吧？啊，讲起话来也是比较亲密感一样，对不对？所以我说你应该给我一个机会 ，OK？ 不要整天就是说我是什么党 ，OK？ 当然你的党是你因为你的立场，我不能够改变你的立场。我说，如果你能够给我一次机会，给我进去国会，如果那我的那个表演不够精彩的话，那么4年以后你就可以机会把它给我拉下来。我希望你给我一个机会进去，给我一个机会，给华人一个表现 ，OK？ 那你不给我机的话，我根本没有可能表达我的心目中要做的事情。谢谢。
那你意思是不是说，第一次大选的时候你是因为经验不足，第二次大选的时候是因为时间就比较紧，对，是主要原因。
对。那这一次呢，时间是非常好 ，OK？ 那么但是当然，你在加拿大大选来讲是候选人当然你要做你的功课 ，OK？ 但是党上面也是很重要，他们那个survey说的候选人的 account 是差不多是15%，OK？ 那个党中央是很重要，那个好像政纲可以帮到那个选民 ，OK？ 但是我希望能够改变这个立场 ，OK？ 希望人家会。好像我在今天去那个上街敲门的话，一碰到选民说我还没有决定会不会投你的票，那我是问他一个问题，倒过来我说你只要看到我的眼睛 ，OK？Just look straight into my eye and ask the question: Is this person deserve my support? If the answer is yes, then maybe you should consider seriously and vote for me in the next election and give me a chance, so I have an opportunity to show what I can do for the community. Thank you.
有很多这个人头税的受害人呢，他们是要求个别赔偿啊，但是的话，这个现在自由党政府就是说拨款2500万元给他们，然后作为一个教育的，然后有很多足迹大家来分享这笔。就 make sure 以后不再发生这种事情。然后的话，但也有很多华人社区很担心，就说如果一旦明年大选，如果自由党下台了，这会不会这个承诺就无效了？就我不知道你有没有跟跟保守党高层哈克他们谈过这个问题。如果保守党赢了，会不会继续这个承诺，或者说还是改成个别赔偿或者怎么样？
Actually, like it was MP Inkima, the Conservative MP from Manitoba that institute or initiate this discussion about the head tax issue. And for the longest period of time, to my knowledge, the Liberal will never even touch on it. It will never really bring it up. It was due to the credit of our Conservative MP Inkima from Manitoba. Finally, I think the Liberal is thinking about election is coming soon, and they say they're going to do some compensation. If I'm not mistaken, I already had some advanced knowledge. Sometime next month in November, they're going to make an announcement in Vancouver. They're going to do it, I believe, at the request of Raymond Chen, the MP in Vancouver, to apologize to the Chinese Canadian for the wrongdoing. I don't know what's the composition involved with that, but like all I'm saying is that like the past is past. There's not much we can do. We have to move on, okay? Like we have to try to, like some symbolic, apology we do, because it doesn't involve my family, so I don't want to get in that. But I also believe that, I can't blame someone, parent have done some wrong to my parent, okay? So it's difficult to justify that I have to, like get my anger that it was not related to me. But it's a good gesture if the government will rectify that mistake and assure that it won't happen again. And that will be very significant, I believe, to our community. And I believe that, if not because of MP Inkima, the Liberal probably will never, ever consider even to apologize to the Chinese Canadian. So I want to take, the opportunity to thank my colleague or my friend Inkima have the courage to fight on. But it's seldom it gets mentioned in the media that he was an MP that initiated. The bill was still standing in Parliament. He was the one, the private bill, because you are not in government, you can't put up a bill. Because Inkima had to put up a private bill to request for the government to acknowledge the problem and try to rectify it. So hopefully by next month everything will be resolved.
One question is, if you're being elected as a Chinese, I know because like my background is never conflicted with the head tax or whatever.
Yeah.
But as a Chinese, will you stand up for the Chinese and further push the head tax compensation, just like what they do to the Ukrainians?
I have to think myself as a Canadian first, okay? I may be from a Chinese background, okay? I always say the first step, if the government can acknowledge the issue in the past, that would be a good first step. I don't want to get involved in the decision like compensation. Why is that? Is because I don't know the full answer. First of all, we have to establish a fact. How many people got affected of this, right? It's a very complicated calculation. And someone told me that, whatever been done 100 years ago is worth $2 billion. But everyone in this room able to put up your share for the $2 billion? I have to put the question back to you. Right, so we have to start thinking like Canadian. Hopefully, with a small acknowledgement of the mistake, that we can move on and forgive and be friend again, and be like Canadian as ever, so that this mistake will not repeat again. I hope I satisfy your question.
I don't know.
Located about $12 million, okay, to set aside, for some kind of. See, they already within 25 million total. So for Ukrainian, for Chinese, for South Asian, so it's for all the community. So you don't want to make it look like only for Chinese only, okay? So it's for the all other community. So that's a good start, okay? And I compliment the Liberal government for taking the first step to acknowledge it. Coming back to the question that if you're elected as MP, would you take it further? That's what you want to hear, right? Take it further. I always say that I always like to fight what is rightfully belong to us. When I say that is, I'm not like pitching about the past. What I want to pitch is the future. Okay, the future is that if we get more involved, be more Canadian, I think that we're going to actually get more mileage out of it. Okay, we will be, just like you look at South Asia today. They have much better status, political influence, and every time when they ask something, it gets done. All right, so I never belonged to any Chinese association that fighting for this head tax. Okay, there's, to my understanding, there are two fractions. One is representing the family, one is representing the association. So I don't know who is right to represent whom, but the thing to start with, I said, repeat again, it's a good gesture from the government to acknowledge the past. Okay, let's move on from here now.
我的了解，这个2500万已经花下来，而且是交给 Raymond Chen 处理。Raymond Chen 也找了他的一个朋友，负责这笔基金2500万。那么政府也说了，这个是给6个族裔。那么现在就是说，这6个族裔现在怎么样去运用这个2500万？ 我听说是给中国人的这一方面大概是1000多万多一点，大约是这样。 那么现在他这个正在讨论要成立一个基金会，那么比如说在中国人这一方面有个基金会，那么政府曾经有表示过，这个基金会的钱不预备给这个当时的那些人的家属，他是预备用这笔钱来做一个基金来教育全部的，可以说是中国人了这一方面，告诉他以后不要再发生这种事情。那么是用 educational 的方法，或者各种各样的，比如说，假如说这笔钱给了家属的话，的效果比不上办一些教育方面的事情。谢谢。
OK，
请你们的媒体每个人留一张名片交给他好。All right, thanks.
Jolie 你好，你这次出来竞选了，其实你觉得你对国语社区有什么特别的贡献呢？
我希望那个这次竞选的话，给我们那个华人社区能够推动那个我们下一代的人，那个对那个加拿大那个政治的情况比较了解 ，OK， 而且希望能够给我们的国家一点贡献。贡献的就是意思是说，能够在国会里面做一点事情，关于我们社区啊，就是说如果将来那个处理那个中国的问题啊，中国跟台湾的问题啊，那么身为一个国会议员的话，我希望能够帮忙做一个桥梁一样，能够跟他们沟通，帮他们出一点力，帮他们能够解决他们心目中想做的事情。
一般市民他们的最大的问题是安居就业的问题，你的看法怎么样？
这个是很重要，因为我们希望能够那个新移民来到这边加拿大，最重要是能够帮他们找到一份工作 ，OK？ 当然找工作是不是简单的事，我们保守党希望他来到这边的话，因为他们那个 profession 来讲是在大陆有时候我来到安省那个，他们不承认他的那个 certification， 我们希望我们的政党，我们做政府的时候执政的时候，能够尽快的话，新移民来到这边能够帮他们那个 recertify 他们的 credential， 就好像是马上，如果你身为一个医生的话，没有这个必要来到加拿大还要读5年6年的书，来到你说做一个电脑专家的话，虽然你的英语讲的不太流利，不能够说比你要回去学校读，不承认你的那个学历再来读过一下，这比较困难一点。我是希望能够尽量的缩短，能够接受你那个文凭，这样呢也比较容易找到一个工作。
你觉得新移民投入社区、投入政治有没有什么建议了？
我是希望他们那个多跟那个每个政党联络我刚才讲的无论是什么政党，能够出来在社区服务已经是对国家是很大的贡献。所以我鼓励新移民除了那个工作拿到一个工作稳定，有一个那个成就的家庭的话，有时间还是要希望能够跟国家做一点事情。第一步是当然你要帮那个社区的政治家做事那么你有一点沟通的话，那么你社区出了问题的话，也比较容易沟通，也比较容易达到你的目的。
那么如果新移民他们想参与你的 campaign， 到底有什么途径呢？
很简单，你可以打电话跟我联络或者参加我们的网站是 www.jolie.ca， 那边有中文的资料。OK， 也有英文的资料，我们随常欢迎你，因为我们需要很多 volunteer 义工。因为竞选是2个，一个要人力、财力新移民，那么财力当然财力方面是没有办法马上帮得了忙，但是人力方面来讲也是一个很大的帮忙，所以我希望他们能够出来帮忙我。